I'm going to be honest with you. If I could only pick one exercise to do for the rest of my life, this may very well be it. That's how strongly I feel this exercise has to be included in any strength training for Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. And it's the Turkish Get Up. When you think of replicating similar movement patterns that you use in Jiu-Jitsu, when you think about something that's going to give you strength right from literally the tips of your fingers through to your toes, and it's going to give you the biggest bang for your buck, it's going to help you it's going to tie your entire body together in terms of working as one unit, then the Turkish Get Up has to be it. So let's take a look at this exercise and break it down. The first recommendation that I'm going to make for the Turkish Get Up is low and slow. Start off with very low weights and take your time with the exercise. This is not an exercise that you want to rush through and try to, beat a record time. Many of the benefits of this exercise are actually stopping and pausing and slowing down, and most importantly, stabilizing in the various positions that you're going to be working through. So that's my very, very first tip, is low and slow. And when I say low in terms of the weight, start off with no weight whatsoever. And I'm going to demonstrate, and I'm going to talk through some of the steps, and then I'll demonstrate with the kettlebell. So, first thing you want to do is obviously lie in the floor. You've got your arm in the air. Now the leg that's on the same side as the raised arm is going to be up, and you're going to be at about 90 degrees, maybe a little bit more in terms of a bend with the knee. And from there, you're going to put one arm out, or the other arm out to the side at about a 45-degree angle, and the other leg out to the side at about a 45-degree angle. I've just adjusted my foot slightly there so that the foot is not directly below the hip, it's pointing out slightly on the raised leg. And then from here, you're going to raise up as you push. You're not just kind of sitting up. Imagine you're actually pushing the kettlebell away as you come up. So I'm going to be in this position, and I'm going to push up into the air, and it's a twisting sit-up almost. And the first thing I'm doing is posting up on my left elbow in this case, or whatever elbow is on the floor. Now, I always like to look up in the air and look where that kettlebell is. I don't want to leave it come too far forward or too far back. I'm trying to get underneath it so it's balanced above me, and I'm using the structure of my arm to hold the kettlebell up. And the other thing that I'm doing here is I want to create a frame through my arms and through my shoulders. I'm not sinking down, I'm driving away with the shoulder. So this shoulder blade is down and back, and I'm using that to push off and drive the kettlebell up into the air. I pause here for a second or two, then when I'm ready, I'm going to post up onto the heel of my hand, and again I'm creating that big, strong frame all the way through my arms, and I'm looking up at the kettlebell. Then from here, I'm going to post on this foot, raise my hip up in the air, and then I'm going to bring my left leg through. Now I'm quickly going to pause and talk about two different styles of doing the Turkish Get Up. One is where people do the high hip raise and come through, it's called a high sweep, I believe, and the other one is where you come through, and I believe that's called a low sweep. I've always preferred the low. I'm not sure there's a huge amount of difference between doing one or the other, but find out what feels most comfortable for you. So I'm in this position, I've got a strong frame all the way through, I'm looking at the kettlebell, I'm pushing away, I'm planting my foot like we do in a technical sit-up, right, in Jiu-Jitsu. Very similar movement here, which is one of the reasons why this exercise is so good. But anyway, pushing, so all my weight is being balanced off my left hand and my right foot. And from here, while I maintain a strong frame, I bring my left knee all the way through. And then when I'm ready, I'm going to push up into the air. So I'm coming into this lunge position. Now, you can see that my legs are not square. So what I want to do is bring my right leg forward, and then from there, do a full lunge up into the air and get to this top position. Then when you're in the top position, I'm not just relaxed. I'm not loosey-goosey here. I'm pushing up into the air, and I'm gonna drive my glutes. Let me turn around to the side so you can see this. I'm gonna turn my glutes on, pull my shoulder blades down and back. I'm not overextended in the back. Chin is tucked, and everything is in tight, like I'm one big, straight, strong pillar. And I hold that position for a second or two, and then I'm gonna reverse. So I'm going to go forward with one foot, half a step, back with the other foot, half a step, and from there I'm going to come down. I'm going to look up at the kettlebell again, put my hand on the floor, so I'm creating a nice strong frame all the way through, and I'm reversing the movement. So now I'm taking the weight off my hind leg, so my weight is balanced, as you can see, between my left hand and my right foot, and then I'm going to sweep all the way through, come here, sit down in a nice controlled motion, and then come down onto the elbow. It's everything in reverse, but very slow and controlled on the way down. And then from here, I'm slowly gonna sit down onto my side, rotate around onto my back, and then I'm back to the starting position. Okay, so I would practice the movement just like that, with no weight. You can use, maybe, I've seen some people talking about putting a trainer on the knuckles, so if it falls and hits you in the head, you're not really going to get hurt unless you've got really big, massive feet and heavy trainers. Or you can use a pillow or something soft. If it falls, it's not going to cause any damage. So just to get used to the movement, and I would do that, 5 reps each side, maybe for a week or two, just to get comfortable with it before you even move up to actually using a weight. And don't be afraid to start with something really small with what you're going to use. And I'll demonstrate with the weight in a second. I talk a lot about with kettlebells, if the weight is too low, particularly for kettlebell swings, you're not really getting a training effect. But the only exception I would say for actually, going really low with kettlebells to start off with is the Turkish Get Up, because it's such a complex movement. So don't be afraid to start off with just something that's 10 pounds and build up from there. But quickly talking about the weight before I demonstrate, this is, I believe this is, 24 kilos, so it's about 50 pounds, one of my lighter kettlebells. But I think everybody should at least be able to do 20 to 25% of their body weight and have that as an early benchmark. If you want to get really strong, I think 50% of your body weight is the benchmark that I use, and I know a lot of people use, but aiming for something, building up to something that's 20 to 25%. If you just want the kind of a good strength exercise, it's going to give you good benefits in terms of shoulder health, elbow health, core strength, rotational strength, but you're not really worried about getting incredibly strong, then 20 to 25% of your body weight is a good benchmark. But if you want to get real strength, real Turkish Get Up strength, then I would say aim for something that's about 50% of your body weight. Now, quick demonstration with the kettlebell, some other pointers, and then we'll wrap this up. So the first thing, actually getting the kettlebell itself, I'm going to keep my hands together and roll over to the side and roll the kettlebell onto me. So my arms are really tight, my elbows are tight, like you don't want anyone to do a Kimura on you, that kind of position. Then when I'm on the floor, if I can push it up with one arm, great. You're gonna develop a bit of pushing strength too. But if you need to support with one arm and get up, that's okay. So that's the first pointer in terms of getting that kettlebell up. And the second one is, with my shoulder, I'm not rotating the elbow outwards. That elbow is rotated down, the shoulder blade is down and back, and I'm twisting my shoulder so it's locked in a nice, strong, stable position. Then from there, I'm going to go through the same movements that we just demonstrated. So one foot is out to the side slightly, but knee raised. The other leg is at about 45 degrees. The arm is at about 45 degrees. Then it's a twisting push-up while I push the kettlebell up into the air. I'm really driving up and I'm looking at it all the time. And I'm getting my weight underneath the kettlebell. I'm posted on my elbow. I've got a good, strong, stable frame through the shoulders. Then I'm going to post up onto the heel of my hand, adjust that hand until I feel comfortable and I've got that strong, stable frame. Adjust my legs slightly here So then I can take all the weight up onto my foot, into my hand. My left leg is light. I'm gonna sweep it through underneath me, and then from here, I'm gonna adjust my right leg in front of me and come up. And I'm gonna rotate, so you see this. I don't wanna overextend like this. Everything nice and locked in like one big strong column. Then I'm gonna take half a step forward, half a step back, and slowly, but under control, reverse the position. Looking up at the kettlebell, sweep through, come down, back onto the elbow, nice and controlled. I adjust my hips underneath if I need to, and from here, if I need to, I'll guide it back down and I roll to the side. One last tip, never pass the kettlebell over your chest. For safety, if you've got a heavy kettlebell and you drop that, you're in for a world of trouble. Put it on the floor and slide it across the floor slowly and rotate it around to the other side to repeat. And then you go again. So, I hope you find this video useful in breaking down what can be a very complex and daunting exercise, but something that you absolutely have to have if you're doing strength training for Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Guys, click the button on the bottom, subscribe to this video, but also make sure to head over to bjjstrength.com and take a look at the Foundation Strength Training Program, where the Turkish Get Up is a key element of that program, plus 8 other movement areas I think you need to be working if you're a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu practitioner. Thank you, guys.